Yep, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for another episode of Righties Rage. In this video, White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt snaps on reporters while bragging about President Donald Trump's power to fire anybody he wants during the daily press briefing contest today. Let's see what they have to talk about. Of course, they will be bragging about him being able to fire anyone that opposes anything that President Trump has to say. Anything that the media deems is not worthy of news. The righties will rage on anything the Democratic Party does to try to stop their tyranny and their fascism from going further and further each day that President Trump is in office. And here's one of his little flunkies reading the Daily Report that she's proud that King Trump can fire whoever he wants, whether they're doing their job or not. Let's check out the video.
You might choose.
Look, the president reserves the right to nominate individuals to key administration posts. He also reserves the right to remove those individuals if he chooses, just like he reserves the right to fire anybody in the executive branch that he wants. And so a new replacement for NASA will be announced very soon, as the president himself said.
Was there something in particular that came up that caused the president concern with this nomination?
The president wants to ensure that all of his nominees are aligned fully with the America First mission of this administration. And again, he will be announcing a replacement very soon.
Did you hear that? He wants to make sure that all his nominees are in line with what he says goes. If that's not some Nazi type of stuff, that's some brainwash voodoo type of, you need to be on my program. So he wants all yes people. He don't want anyone no. And the Democratic Party are no. We understand that you're doing wrong. But he wants everybody in office. Look, she's a big old smile on her face. She's just happy to follow along with him no matter what he says. They are just happy to follow in line. They must get their own personal parking space. Let's check it.
Andrew, go ahead.
Thank you, Karoline.
You're welcome.
It's been just about a month since President and Prime Minister Starmer announced...
I can't see you all the way back there. Phil's head is in the way.
Well, he's very tall.
There you go.
So it's been just about a month since Prime Minister Starmer and President Trump announced that the U.S. and U.K. had reached a trade deal,
That's right.
or at least a framework for a deal. Now there are at least some conservative MPs in London who are complaining that Parliament has not yet seen the text of any deal. So I'd like to ask you from this side of the pond, is there a text for the deal ready to be released, submitted, and if not, when can we expect it? And then I have one more.
There's most definitely text with this deal. There is language that this side has seen. You'll have to ask the UK Parliament why they haven't seen it from their own government. I obviously can't answer that question.
And on
Jonathan,
Caroline, one more on Ukraine,
go ahead,
please.
Jonathan. Sure, go ahead.
On Ukraine, it's been a couple days since Ukraine made that audacious drone strike on Russian airfields. The president hasn't said a word about it, and usually he's not shy about making his thoughts known on the war, or it's not bad, on the war or any other subject. What have you heard from him on this audacious drone strike? Is he surprised? He said that Zelensky didn't have the cards when they met in the Oval Office a few months back. Does Zelensky possibly have some cards that the president hadn't known about?
Look, the president's thinking on the Russia-Ukraine war as it stands, I spoke to him about it just this morning, is he remains positive at the progress that we've seen. Again, he urged both leaders to sit down and talk directly with one another, and they did that. Russia handed over a memorandum of peace, or a peace plan, or a suggestion of one, I understand, to the Ukrainian side. They also agreed upon the exchange of prisoners or hostages from each other's countries. So he remains positive about the progress that we're seeing, but he also is a realist, and he realizes these are two countries that are at war and have been for a long time because of his predecessor's weakness and incompetence. So he's working hard to solve this conflict, and that's where his mind is right now on it. Jonathan, go ahead.
Thank you. Same topic, just to put a finer point on it. Does President Trump approve of Ukraine's decision to strike nuclear-capable bombers in Russia?
I would like to let the president speak on that himself.
And just to follow up, has the president...
I would just add to that. The president does not want to see this war prolonged. He wants the fighting to stop, he wants people to stop dying, and he wants this to be solved at the negotiating table. The reason he is so deeply involved and has spent so much time and effort on this war is because he hates to see people dying. Again, these are not Americans that are being killed. These are Russians and these are Ukrainians. This is a war very far away. But this president truly cares about peace, and that's what he wants to see.
What is President Trump doing to ensure that a similar internal drone attack doesn't happen here in the US, given this was done at pretty low cost, very stealthily? You know, it obviously raises questions about our own security, particularly for US aircraft here.
It absolutely does, and that's why the president nominated Secretary Hegseth and has approved some of the changes that have been made at the Pentagon to ensure that we have the most lethal fighting force in the world, and that the United States military is the best, the biggest. That's why he wants the One Big Beautiful Bill to be passed, because it increases our defense spending. It's why he also launched the announcement of the Golden Dome to prevent from missile strikes and attacks in the future. And the president has a full understanding, I can tell you because I've spoken to him about it, about the future of warfare and how drones are a big part of that.
Now, I'm assuming when they talk about the Golden Dome that they're trying to create to cover the United States, you know what, I'm thinking that probably the person that was in charge of NASA probably disagreed with it. Like, how do we do that? And that's why he decided to get rid of him and put someone in there that's a yes person. Because I can't figure out how you could do it either. If they're talking about these drones that happen in Ukraine, they were brought in by trucks. We have trucks coming all through the United States. I mean, you're about to have Teslas with automated trucks that don't have people driving them. So how would a dome protect us, you know what I'm saying, from something that's happening inside the country? That dome is for missiles outside the country. And as far as we know, no one wants to hit anybody with nuclear weapons because, I mean, once you scorch the earth, no one can live on there for decades. I mean, so for generations, for maybe never again. So this Golden Dome is just more money. So all that money that the Dodge tried to save or find or whatever or get back to put into our economy is just being spent right back out. That's all. So it seems like this Dawes thing was one big fake old thing to try to get money so that President Trump could spend money. That way he could say officially he's not contributing to the national debt. But you are, because you can't say, well, we got back $10 billion, but I'm about to spend $10 billion. So, you know, we can really say that I didn't waste the money. That's not how it works. You get the $10 billion back, and then you keep the $10 billion, and then that's how you lower your debt. You know what I'm saying? It's like having a credit card, you know, where it's like the minimum payment is $28, but the interest fee is $20. So you're only putting $8 on the credit card. You know what I'm saying? You be paying the credit card off till you about 80 years old. So this big, beautiful dome, like I say, I'm thinking that the NASA person said, no, I don't see how we can make this happen. And then Trump said, you know what? We need to get you out. Now, that's not that's dictation. That's dictator type of stuff. You don't get rid of everyone that says, I think you could do it a different way, or I think you're doing it wrong. If you just want yes people in the office, then, yeah, the president is not for you. That's the worst place to be, is to be the president, because no matter what you say, if somebody says yes, I mean, anybody that's not in that little sphere or your little clique, they could get it. And that's a terrible thing. That's why people are so worried about it.
And I will not get ahead of our policy team, but I think you can expect to see some executive action on that front in the very near future. Caitlin.
Two questions for you as well. On the Big Beautiful Bill, you said recently that it is, quote, blatantly wrong to say that it adds to the deficit. You essentially said that an estimate from the Congressional Budget Office and other scorekeepers you believe are wrong. But Republicans like Ron Johnson and Rand Paul disagree. They are saying that it will add to the deficit. That is their concern. Is the White House's position that those two Republican senators are, quote, blatantly wrong?
It is. Those senators, it's not news that they disagree with this president on policy, and the president has vocally called them out for it and for they're not having their facts together. I would add the Congressional Budget Office has been historically wrong. In fact, they predicted the Trump tax cuts from the president's first term in 2017. Their prediction was wrong by $500 billion. Those tax cuts had nearly $500 billion more of revenue than the Congressional Budget Office scored. And I would also point out, I don't think many people know this, there hasn't been a single staffer in the entire Congressional Budget Office that has contributed to a Republican since the year 2000. But guess what? There have been many staffers within the Congressional Budget Office who have contributed to Democrat candidates and politicians every single cycle since. So unfortunately, this is an institution in our country that has become partisan and political, and we are very confident in our own economic analyses of this bill. There is $1.6 trillion in savings.
Did she say becoming political? That's what you're doing. Righties rage. Everything y'all doing is political. What are you talking about that it's becoming political? Because people are trying to stop you from spending money? I mean, the Republican Party, you keep saying that y'all are making money, you're bringing money in. You haven't brought anything in yet. All these companies that say they are coming here to build, they haven't built anything yet. Until a building has been built, until you get all electronics in, the plumbing, and you get employees in there, those companies don't exist. So you're just making up things. You're just bringing figures. So you're sitting there like, you're in the Far East talking about where they're bringing $1 trillion here. They haven't brought the $1 trillion here yet. You're just this is like the equivalent of what do you call them cars when people put them together? What do they call them? A concept. You're just giving concepts of what you say is going to happen, but it ain't happening. Just like a concept car, they make some beautiful concept cars. I mean, they have concept cars that take off from the water, that you could fly around and then land them in your bedroom. That is not an actual car; it's a concept. So you're saying that you're bringing all these jobs and these businesses. That's one of the reasons why he threatened to put tariffs on Apple, because they said they was coming here with over $500 million jobs. And then Apple looked at it and said, you know what? We still gonna get these $1,000 phones made in China for 3 cents. If we bring them to America, we're going to have to actually pay people, money that they could survive on. And we don't want that. We rather keep the jobs in China and put nets on the windows so people can't go crazy trying to fix your face recognition on your phone and jumping out of windows. So they decide, well, you know what? We think we're going to go ahead and stay in China. So Trump is like, well, I already told people that you're going to get $500 million out of you. And well, that's going to make me look bad. See, that's what I'm saying. These are concepts. Until they actually come here and build a building and put employees in there and they're paying taxes and people are complaining about what is FICA, it's not happening. It hasn't happened yet. So you can talk all this about all the money you're supposedly bringing in because it's a concept car. It's a beautiful dream, but until it actually happens, nothing is happening. So again, when people speak out about it, you get the righties rage.
And our Office of Management and Budget Director, Russ Vought, is a fiscal hawk. He is well known in this city for being a well-respected fiscal hawk. He has tools at his disposal to produce even more savings. And as you know, the White House will be sending our rescissions package to Capitol Hill today.
And on immigration, the other day that the Homeland Security Secretary said, and I'm quoting her now, that an illegal alien threatened to assassinate President Trump and highlighted his arrest. A man has now admitted to framing him, saying that he wrote the letter.
All right, well, that's the end of that video. Okay, so what I'm saying is, again, on this, so this big beautiful bill is actually a big beautiful poop. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever had them people that go into the forest and stuff, and they be looking for animals, and then they see like deer dun or bear dun, they be like, oh, that's beautiful. Oh, it's a rare bear. Look at that dun. It's so fresh. That's what the big beautiful bill is. It's a piece of dun. Nobody is seeing anything happening from it. All you're doing is seeing what was there. You're not seeing what's there now. The big beautiful bill is a concept, and obviously it's not working. And anyone that talks against it is going to be railed out. They said that Rand Paul said that he was not voting for the bill. I guarantee in the next 2 weeks, you'll hear talk about Rand Paul somehow they're trying to get him out of office now. All of a sudden, he doesn't align with Donald Trump, and maybe it's time for him to retire or whatever they do when they get 200 years old, and they basically have to like push him out of the Congress because they're like vampire ages and they're like still running. They're like, well, you're 102. Why don't you retire? Oh, no, I need to make the bills for the young people. Well, how you gonna make the bills for the young people when you came from Western times? Don't nobody know who you know what I'm saying? You don't even know what's going on. You go up to him and say YOLO, and he'd be like, YOLO? What are you talking about? What's going on here? You need young people in there with fresh ideas. We got the same old people with the same old suits from Sears. I don't think Sears has been here for like 300 years. But you got people with Sears suits still in office. I mean, with suits that's been passed down from Culpeper to Culpeper. So Trump is getting out anyone that doesn't align with him. Now, why a lot of presidents do that, they don't do it to the extent that these far righties are going. You don't see everybody sitting there smiling and they like so happy and stuff to tear people down. But then on the other side, you're talking about, well, the Democrats don't seem to be giving us the right thing. Where the View is always talking negative against us. Somebody has to keep you in check. You don't have anybody keeping you in check because every time you say something, well, you know what? I think today, you know what? Let's take SNAP from everybody so kids can't eat in school. And then you will complain later that, well, kids are causing a lot more crime and they're stealing because they're hungry. God damn it. They want something to eat. Come on now. You can't have it. You got to take one way. That's what I'm saying is ridiculous. And then also for the Republican Party that's supposed to be so part of the NP, what is it? Is it the NPR? No, what is it? National Rifle, NRA. The Democratic Party has made so many more laws for gun-abiding citizens that the Republican claim to be on their side. You're not on their side because that's not what you're not functioning on right now. You're functioning on having a military war, which is going to be showing weapons and guns and all types of stuff. But that's not your concern right now. You're not worried about that. Well, people want to have their guns. People complain about their guns all the time. The criminals not taking no CCW, no conceal and carry class tests. They're not worrying about that. No, they're getting a gun. But you have people that's trying to take a class that the class costs $350 to get a handgun qualification license just to buy a gun is about $150. You can get a brand new 9mm for about $200. So half of that money that people that could actually get weapons and protect themselves from what you say is illegal migrants and so on like that, they can't even afford a gun because of the laws that y'all create. And by you saying, well, we don't actually create those laws, the Democratic Party creates those laws. Well, how are they creating the laws without your help? If you don't vote against them, then you're a part of it. What do people say? Well, I'm not voting this year. If you don't vote, you don't have a right to complain. If you don't vote, you're a part of the problem. So don't nobody want to hear that. So, again, this is another episode of Righties Rage as they continue to rage on. And my fellow Democratic Party and democracy, happy Pride Month. Subscribe and come on back. We have a place to talk.